So if you're watching this, you're probably a beginner in Cinema 4D and don't know where to start. If that's the case, then this class was made just for you. 3D modeling is usually considered a very complex and difficult subject, but what if I told you that it's not nearly as difficult as you think it is? Don't believe me? Well, just watch this class and you will be amazed to see how simple and user-friendly it is to create such a beautiful and cute cartoon guitar model. I will take you through the full process of modeling, texturing, lighting, and rendering to create this exact 3D model of an electric guitar. By watching this class, you will learn all the basics of modeling, lighting, and texturing and rendering in Cinema 4D. So what are you waiting for? Join this class today and take your 3D skills to the next level. Thank you. Alright guys, so I'm going to be teaching you how to create this amazing 3D model of a cartoonish guitar. And let me tell you one thing, it's extremely easy. Even if you don't know anything apart from the very basics of Cinema 4D, you will find it very easy to follow this tutorial and learn the basics of modeling in Cinema 4D. So first of all, what we need is a reference picture. Now I have a reference picture right here. Let me just drag it in. And you can see this is a guitar. It's an electric guitar. It's just a regular one. And we need a picture to base our model off of, so we can get to know the basic shapes and we can just trace it. We can just trace it and we can get the basic shape of the model. So first of all, what we have to do is we will press the middle mouse button like this, and we will go to the right panel and we will go to options, configure, and we will press back. And now we will press these three dots in front of the image. Now we can go ahead and select that electric guitar reference picture. So I'm just going to select that, and you can see that we have it imported in Cinema 4D. Now if I press the middle mouse button while keeping my cursor over on the right panel, I can just maximize it and I can take a look at the whole shape. And so the first thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be creating the main body of the guitar, and it's very simple. So what we have to do is we will take the spline pen, just take it, and we will zoom in and we will just trace the body of the logo. This is very similar to the Photoshop pen tool, and we're just gonna trace it. And by the way, to make a curve, just press it and drag it and it will make the curve line. And so you just need to trace it on top of that. It's extremely easy. You can just adjust the individual points as well. Just try to make it as accurate as you can. It doesn't need to be 100% accurate, because it's gonna be a stylized and a cartoony 3D model. We're not going for 100% accurate model here. So yeah, it's quite easy, to be honest. Just trace the guitar. Anyway, so that should be pretty much it. Just a second. Let's just move this like that so that we get a better shape. There we go. We have completed the tracing of the main body. Now if I press the middle mouse button and I go back to the perspective mode, you can see that we have this body traced. But if we hit render, you can render the view and the scene by pressing this button. So if you render that, all we get is black. Okay, so we don't get anything right now. Now what we need to do is we have to make this spline three-dimensional. Right now it's two-dimensional. All right, we're gonna have to make it three-dimensional. Okay, so to do that, what we have to do is we need to come over here, just press and hold this and select extrude. So next what we have to do is we have to drag the spline and we have to drag it over the extrude. So now you can see that it is three-dimensional, but it's very slim. So what we need to do to fix that is we have to select the extrude. So the first thing we need to do is we need to make this 0. Just hit 0 and press enter. Now it will be back to its original shape. Now we can adjust this to make it thick or thin. And something like that should be good enough, I think so. Yes, so we have our body. And just a reminder, hit save, hit Ctrl S on your keyboard, or just go up here, file and save project. Just in case your computer turns off automatically or whatever, just save your project, okay? So the next thing we need to do is we need to come back here, and now we need to trace this thing. I'm not into guitars, I just told you that before. Yeah, so we need to select our spline pen again, and this time we will just trace over that. So I'm not gonna make it like 100% accurate, I'm just gonna make it roughly close. So we're done with that too, and we will do the exact same thing with this too. We're just gonna select the spline and just press and hold this, select extrude, drag this on top of the extrude, and the exact same things again. Just make it 0 and increase it. Now this time I'm gonna make this one a bit more thick, and by the way, we can just select this object mode, and we can select the move tool to move it, just like any other object. So something like that seems to be a sweet spot. Yeah, so I think the model is going pretty good. So the next thing we're going to be making is these, I have absolutely no idea what they call these, but like we're gonna be making these things, alright? Instead of like making all of these, I'm just gonna make 3 to make it look like a bit simple and like a bit cartoony, you can say. So for this, we're gonna press and hold the spline pen, and we're gonna select the circle, because these are circles. Yeah. Now if I unzoom, you can see that we have the circle. We can move it up, and we can select this, and we can scale it down as well. Actually, one thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make it a bit darker. Just go here and transparency, just increase it. I'm just gonna make it a bit darker and a bit more transparent so that we can easily see what we're doing here. All right. So something like that seems to be nice. And I'm just gonna position it somewhere here, maybe, yeah. And now I'm gonna press Ctrl and I'm gonna drag it to duplicate it. Now you can just duplicate it, and we have 2 of these, and once again, now we have 3 of them. We're gonna do the same exact thing with all these. So yeah, just extrude. So just bring in the extrude and just drag one of them in, just change the values, and we will do something like that. We will move it forward. So something like that seems to be fine. Yeah, so now we could do the same thing with these both, but I just realized we have an easier method, and that is to just delete these, and we will select this extrude, and we will duplicate this extrude, because we have applied everything, all the settings and all, you know. Just duplicate it and move it like that. We can just adjust it right here. So that seems to be perfect. Just save again. So the next thing we need to make is these things right here, these things. Once again, I have absolutely no idea what they call these things, but we're just gonna make them, alright? So for this, we're gonna be selecting the spline pen once again, and just drag, and let's just create the shape. And we're just going to create one of them, and then we will be duplicating them. There you have it. Just the shape doesn't need to be perfect, however it does need to be good. This is fine. And yeah, so let's just do the exact same thing with this as well. Drag it into the extrude and just make this 0 and increase this, so something like that. Let's just move it to the front. So it's all just mixing and matching and just seeing what looks the best. No one can tell you the exact sizes and measurements of all these shapes. You just need to figure it out yourself, and you just have to check what looks good. Something like that seems to be good. Just move it up a bit. Move it to the left. And you just need to see what looks best, and I can't stress this enough. You just have to do it yourself. Let's just move it a bit to the front. Actually, it's way too small for us, so we need to extend it like that. Move to the front. That seems to be just perfect. Now just select the extrude and just move it down a bit, move it down a little, and just duplicate it. Now we have 2 of them, and we will actually, I'm gonna make 3 of them, but I'm gonna modify the third one a bit. We're just gonna make it a bit different. So let's just make it something like that. And we are pretty much done. We just need to make the strings. That we are going to do by selecting this, just press and hold, and select cylinder. Now we will just reduce the size of the cylinder like that, and select the move tool, and just place it where it should be. That seems to be the right position. Just a little to the left. That seems to be the right position. Now just increase the scale. That we're going to be doing like this. And move it down. We need to increase the scale a bit. A little bit. Move it down. And I think we are pretty much done. Just a little tweaking, and we're gonna reduce the size of. Just a quick reminder, save your project. Saving your project is extremely helpful, and it's very important as well. It has saved me a ton of times. So one thing we're going to be doing is we will just move them a bit forward, just like that, and we will bring these back so that the strings are actually going in front of them and not within them or whatever. Actually, I'm going to select both of them to move it so that I move them equally. And that seems to be perfect. Let's move this a bit to the front. And I think we need to decrease the radius of the cylinder just by a little, like that. Something like that should be perfect, and we are done with the string. So now what we have to do is we need to duplicate the string. Once again, save your project and just move it like that, and it's aligned. Now just increase the scale. Something like that should be good because it's increasing from below as well, from the bottom as well. I'm just gonna move it a bit to the right, and yeah, I guess we are pretty much done. Just one more duplicate, just one more string required, and we will be done with the model. And we are done with the model. So that is our 3D model. Just move it a bit to the left. There we go. We are done with the 3D model of our guitar. So now we have to move towards the second part, which is texturing and adding lights. And that is quite easy as well. Just hang along and I will teach you everything you need to know about that. So just one thing, what I'm going to do is I am going to group everything. Just Control A to select all, and right click and group objects. So we have this one null, we can just rename it to guitar. Now for the lighting, we're going to be using something known as an HDRI, which is a high dynamic range image. So to use that, basically you need an HDR image. It's basically a 360-degree image which is used to light your 3D scene. And I have attached one in the project tab down below in this class. So what you need to do, so just download that file and just and to import it, what you need to do is we need to double click right here and just double click again on the material and just turn the color and reflectance channel off and just turn the luminance channel on. So just press these three dots right here and just navigate to where you have that HDR image. Just select it, double click and press no. Now you have that HDRI image loaded into Cinema 4D. So now what you need to do is you need to first of all just press right here and go to Effect, Global Illumination, just turn it on and go to Effect again. And now you have to select Ambient Occlusion. Just turn it on. It makes your renders a bit more realistic. So that would be great for us. So what you need to do is you have to press and hold this and create a sky object. Now you will see that you have this whole sky around your scene. So you have to just drag the material and press it and just drop it on top of the sky. Now if I render the scene, you can see that it is looking very realistic, but we have this sky behind it. So what we need to do to hide that is we have to right click the sky and we have to come down to render tags, compositing, just press it, and you have to uncheck scene by camera. So this will just it will hide the sky, and now you can see we have this guitar and it's looking quite realistic. We have all the shadows and everything on point, but we don't have any colors or materials as we call it. So to do that, to create them, what we need to do is we have to double click here again. Now we create a material and we have to select a color. Let's go for something like this. This orange seems to be really nice. And what you need to do is you need to just drag it and drop it on top of whatever object you want to add it to. Now I'm going to add this orange color to this body, add it, and you can see that our body is orange. So now what we need to do is we need to add some reflectance properties. What reflectance properties basically are is that they are basically it's just adding reflections to your object. And you will see this default specular when you first open it up. Just press it and hit delete because we don't need that. What we need is a Beckman. Now how do we add the Beckman? Just press add and Beckman. As simple as that. Just go down to layer Fresnel, select it, dielectric, and just instead of custom, just set it to PET. Now if I render it, you can see that it is a bit too reflective. So what we need to do is we need to reduce the IOR, and something like that seems to be better. So now you can see it looks very good. Now what we need to do is we need to create the other materials. So just once again double click right here and just double click on the material, and now we will select another color. Let me just select white for the strings. Let's make it a bit grayish because nothing in real life is completely white or completely black. So just apply this material to all these things. You can choose any colors you want, but for this demonstration, I'm just choosing these colors. So I just went ahead and applied the same Beckman properties to the white material as well. And now just one more thing. Before adding the other materials, let's just first add a background. So how do we do that? It's very, very simple. Just select this, press and hold, and background. Just simple as that. Now just create a material. Let's just take white for example and just apply it on that, and now you can see that we will have a white background. So just white doesn't look that good, so let's add something a bit more vibrant, just a very light color. I think I'm just gonna go with something like this, maybe a little darker. That looks perfect. So now what we need to do is we need to create a darker material and we need to apply it to the rest of the things. Yeah, so let's just choose something like that, maybe. Something like that seems to be perfect. Just drag it and drop it like that. So now we have this. So now we have applied all the materials to our guitar. And now if I render it, you can see that it looks quite cool already. So we're just gonna add some finishing touches and then we will just render it. So first of all, what I want to tweak is I will add some more reflectance on the orange, on the main orange part. Just make it a bit more shiny. So actually I think it looks really nice and it doesn't need any major tweaks or any major enhancements. I think it looks pretty good. Now to render it, you have to press this and output, and let's set the resolution to like 4K because why not? So just make it 2160 and that will adjust by itself. Now come down to anti-aliasing, and instead of geometry we want the best, and just make it 16 by 16 max level, and we're going to go down to global illumination, and in the secondary method we're going to be adding light mapping. That will just make our render a bit more realistic. And now we can just see a preview of the final render. It looks really nice, and now we're just going to press this and it will start rendering. So you can see that it looks really nice. And to save it, what we need to do is we just press this still image, yes. Instead of TIFF format, we're going to be saving it as a PNG. You can save it as a JPEG as well by clicking here, but we're going to be saving it as a PNG. So that should be perfect. Make it 16 bits. That would just make it look a bit better. Just press OK and just select where you need to save it. So I'm just going to name it class and just save. And if we go back home, you can see that we have this class PNG, and it is our very own 3D model. So thanks a lot for watching. If you like this class, please don't forget to rate it. It would help me a lot. And just let me know what kind of classes do you want so I can create those. And yes, just thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.